A big hello and welcome. It's Kate from Zen Stitching, and I'm joining you today for another of our Making Zen artist series, where today we have the pleasure of chatting with Natalia Olefirenko, who's very close to my heart, and I'm super excited that she's joining us today as part of the conversations with Making Zen, and also that she's going to be one of our guest teachers at Making Zen. A big hello and welcome, Nat.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's a third time I'm taking part in Making Zen, and it was always a really nice experience. And I always try to bring you some meaningful projects for the communities and share some Ukrainian traditions and stuff. So I'm very excited to share my project with you.
And I'm excited that you're back as well. So, like you say, this is the third time round, which seems absolutely crazy. That the time seems to go quickly and slowly all at once. And you've shared some of your beautiful projects with us in the past. It was a beautiful Ukrainian inspired flower embroidery, which was the first one. And you could choose to put that on a dark background, which I thought was very beautiful. The last retreat that you participated in, you shared some wonderful techniques of watercolor onto fabric before embroidering, which I think is really opens up the doors to so many other ways of working, and kind of like when we want to create our own designs, we've got that freedom and flexibility to do so. And then this time round, you're doing something which I'm so thrilled that you're going to be sharing with us, because I've been admiring what you've been sharing on Instagram. And so I'm so thrilled that you're going to be sharing this with us at the Making Zen online retreat. Would you like to share with us what that's going to be?
Sure. This is going to be a really beautiful Easter egg. It's going to be inspired by Pysanka. It's Ukrainian ancient art, drawing on the eggs, and I designed one inspired by this. And this is the design that we will be working on.
Wow.
In the center, it's a star that symbolizes the sun, and the leaves around and little buds is symbolize spring that is coming, and it's gonna be a really nice project. I will be telling about Ukrainian traditions, how this tradition appeared. Actually, if you don't know the tradition of painting on the eggs, it initially, like originally, it came from Ukraine. Then it came to other countries. So this is the home of Ukrainian of the Easter eggs. And I would like to show you my spring Easter tree. This is a cherry blossom tree I decorated with my Easter eggs that I did with my patrons. They are designed in a modern way with different flowers, different spring flowers. And yeah, this is my project.
Oh my goodness, there's so much in this that I'd like to discuss with you. The history of the painting of the eggs, I think that's really fascinating. And maybe let's go into that first, because it's something that I have admired but never really done as an art or a craft. And I don't really know much about the history either. Is it something that you'd like to share with us a little bit about?
Yeah, so originally it looks like this. This is an Easter egg I did last year on the Ukrainian festival here in Canada. Like it was my first time painting on the egg. Where in Canada, like funny. But in this technique, this is made with hot wax, and like you draw some elements, then you dip into the yellow paint first, then you draw some more elements, you dip it in some orange, then in you draw something else, dip it into red, for example, and then to black. And only in the end, when you wash away like this wax, you see the final result, and it looks like magic. It's very interesting, and I was amazed by this technique, and I bought a kit so I would make some more Easter eggs like this at home. And this weekend we will have a party with my friends, with my Canadian friends, and we will like gather and make some more Easter eggs in this technique.
Oh, fabulous. And I'm curious as well, the way you're holding the eggs, they look quite light. So do you remove the contents before you paint them?
Yeah, this is a real egg and it's empty. There is a little hole here,
Oh,
and there
yeah.
is a technique how you can mix the inside and that you can take it out. So it's like it becomes empty, and yeah, it's a real egg. So you need to be careful with this. So you can
Yes.
break it.
So delicate. And I'm curious because this is a tradition that stems back to the Ukraine, which is where you and your family are from. Um, what do you know some of like the symbolic tradition behind it, or would you like to share some of the traditions that you share with the making of the egg?
Like the egg, it symbolizes the spring is coming, the new life, like renewals and fertility. Like it has different meanings. I will talk more about that on the workshop. And this tree also is a tradition, Ukrainian tradition. They were bringing the branches from the cherry blossom or apple blossom trees into the house early in the spring, and looking at like at these branches, if they start blooming early and a lot, it means that this year will be great for different fruits like this. So they will have a lot of fruits and vegetables. So it's an interesting tradition. Like some of this I'm learning here in Canada because I wasn't really thinking about it before. It was like so natural for me why people did it, but
Mm.
now I'm like learning about this even more, going deeper in those traditions, realizing that uh, how meaningful everything was, and it comes from the times even before Christianity, like before people were pagans.
Mhm.
Is the right meaning, like the word? So they were deeply connected to the nature, and all the traditions they come from the nature and the connection with the nature.
It's wonderful. I really love hearing about that. And it's so true, isn't it? Sometimes when you're in the middle of your culture, for want of a better way, you're just living it, you don't really take time to look objectively at what you do and why you do. It's only when you step outside and you have a chance to reflect upon what you do that you kind of can see things maybe in a slightly different way. I feel the same about being an Australian living in Canada as well. Sometimes I see things slightly differently because I'm one step removed from living in Australia. So I love hearing that you're learning more about it now, even as a an experience and a tradition. I'm also very curious to know so you said that this weekend you're getting together and you're going to be painting the eggs with your friends. Is that something that you would also do back home in the Ukraine?
Yeah, I'm from the south of Ukraine. In different regions of Ukraine, we did it differently. Like this kind of style, it comes from the more than west of Ukraine, north of Ukraine, and on the east of Ukraine and the south of Ukraine, I like didn't see those kind of eggs a lot, but we were painting with the natural dyes. We were boiling the eggs with onion shell and other different natural materials that could dye the egg. So
Mm.
they were boiling for 10 minutes, and then we would scratch the egg and make different, this way I would make different ornaments and stuff, like anything that comes in my mind. So this is how I did it. And we also, before boiling the egg, we could attach the leaf of the,
Mm.
like some kind of nice shaping leaf, and then wrap it with some transparent fabric. And then when you boil it, this leaf will leave the mark on the egg, so it will be like perfectly shaped here on the egg, and we would make like decorate the egg this way. So there are different ways how you can dye the egg.
Mm.
That's what is my grandma. So that's what I remember every year we did it with my
Oh,
grandma.
oh, how wonderful. They are very special memories then in that case.
I want to cherish them and to bring them to the next generations, and it's a nice way to tell local people about our traditions and share the stories.
Yes, it really is, and it's fascinating to hear that there's more than one way to decorate the eggs. Like you say, you've got the dye method where you work with the wax and the dyes. You've got the onion skin method where you dye it and then you scrape back into it. So would you use something like a needle or something sharp like that?
I use just regular needles that I had.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Or
Um,
even sharp actually works.
Yeah, and anything. Well, I can't wait to try all these different things. And then the third one is to use like a resist of some sort where you put leaves on and then you dye it and in a sheer fabric to create shapes that way. Oh my goodness, so much fun. I'm getting so excited. I want to go out and do all these things.
Yeah, I knew that you like it.
And so I really love that you're taking those ideas and translating it into your fabric eggs so that you've got the egg shape and you're also incorporating different elements of embroidery onto the eggs as well, and particularly bringing in that motif, which I think is quite a relevant and poignant motif within the Ukraine society as well. Yeah.
Yeah, this motive will be free for everyone, so anyone could do it, and we will use just a simple stitches, so anyone could do it. And as a reward for joining your club, they will get the pattern with 8 different designs that I did for my Patreon stitching club, and they would stitch even more Easter eggs in just a modern style. We did different kind of flowers. It's tulips, and you can do them in 2 versions, yellow and pink, and any kind of colors you like. We also did daffodils. They
Oh,
look like
yeah.
this, so you can make them even double-sided if you want,
They're so delightful.
and decorate it with like what you have at home, what you have in your stash. So this is how they turned out.
Lovely. They're so
Really
pretty.
cute. And I have 2 designs that have meaning, that these are forget-me-nots. We usually, Ukrainians usually embroider forget-me-nots on the clothing or anything else to remind about the homeland and the people who fall for fighting for the freedoms. This is also, it has a meaning.
Oh,
Forget-me-nots and willow branches. It also it has a meaning in Ukrainian traditions. Ukrainian bring willow branches before 1 week before Easter for the Palm Sunday, and they bless it in the church. And then there is also a tradition when kids are tapping each other with willow branches and say, "It's not me hitting you, it's willow, and Easter is coming." So this is how it sounds if you translate it.
that is delightful. It's really wonderful to see how nature is so closely entwined with a lot of your traditions, and hearing particularly what you were talking about earlier with the blossoms on the trees, and whether they blossom early, it means that it's going to be a bountiful harvest, or if they're late blossoming, guess that means that it's not so bountiful. It's really interesting to have those traditions be such an integrated part of your lifestyle, because I think sometimes we lose touch with nature a little bit, don't we? And so to keep these traditions alive is just so wonderful, of being able to connect with nature and to be able to read the seasons, which I think is so important for all of us.
Yeah, we need to celebrate, we need to be more connected with nature because of all of this digitalization and AI, like everything they make us disconnected. We not so often go for a walk, but it's very good for our health, and we need to celebrate the season that we are currently having, but not Christmas in July, like something like it's completely disconnected. I was so impressed by this, especially coming here, like in the beginning of autumn, you already see Christmas stuff in the shops. It's like what's going on? It's not the right time for that. Like, yeah, you just need to celebrate what you see in front of you. Like, if you see flowers, I like to embroider flowers. If I see the snow, I embroider snow. Like, it's like, and I also want to say that drawing Pysanky, it also has a meaning, especially in the hard times. It gives people hope for the better, than the good will fight the bad. So, and good people will win, and stuff like that. I don't know how to translate it to English properly, like what's in my mind. So, during the hard times, people would also make Pysanky not only in the Easter time. So it also gives them hope.
Very beautiful.
And during the Soviet times, they tried to like erase those traditions completely, and people were doing it in like secretly, so just to save those traditions and meaning about it.
Oh, it's wonderful that you are keeping those traditions alive, and it's also really lovely to hear that there is quite a strong Ukrainian community where you are in New Brunswick, which also helps you connect with those traditions, and also, like you say, share them with others in the community. And it sounds like you're really getting involved with the community there in New Brunswick. Would you like to share a little bit about some of the things that you're doing there?
Yeah, when I just arrived, I felt so lonely and lost. Like I didn't know anyone. Especially, I wanted to meet like local people somehow, but I didn't know how. And we found out that there is a really strong Ukrainian community here, and they do a lot of um, charity and fundraising for Ukraine. And so I decided to join. First, I was coming just to make a vareniki and pelmeni for the markets. And it was really nice experience for me because I was surrounded by Ukrainian women. We were singing the songs, chatting and stuff all day. So making the vareniki and other Ukrainian traditional food for the market. And it was really nice. And then I figured out that I might do something that I can do, and I can probably raise even more money if I will do my own initiatives. So I started doing the fundraising workshops, and I did a lot of workshops already since the last year, and it helped me to connect to the local teachers, like especially with people who always were dreaming to learn this kind of hand embroidery techniques that I'm doing. They told me that their grandmas and mothers, they were doing this, but they didn't know, like didn't have a chance probably to learn from them, and they passed away, and they have their projects, and they really wanted to learn how to make it as well. So they were really great that I'm here, and I'm able to teach them. So yeah, it's a really nice. I'm creating like a little community here in Monton, in New Brunswick area. We have a Facebook group, and we share progress with each other. And yeah, and more workshops are coming probably in the end of May. We will be stitching some loopings, because those are flowers that impressed me very much in the spring after the long winter, because we arrived in winter, and winter looked like it's endless. Oh my god, when it's gonna be over. On in my stories I already saw like blooming flowers and cherry blossom, but here it was nothing, and I was like waiting and waiting, and then it started, like the spring started, and in May we saw a lot of beautiful different colors flowers. It was lupins, and I saw those lupins for the first time in my life, and it was a lot of them and everywhere, and it was really nice to see them. They are so beautiful, so I want to celebrate spring with the Canadians and embroider lupins, because it's probably kind of a symbol of Canada in some way, and it's gonna be really fun stitching them.
Oh, how fun! I love that you're working with the lupin because yes, as a visitor or I guess a guest in Nova Scotia myself, I was just blown away by you see the fields are full of lupins and they're these beautiful purples and pinks and they grow by the roadside and they're just everywhere. And coming from Australia, they were always seen as a very, very special English plant that you might be able to grow if you had like a cottage garden or something like that. So to be able to just see them growing wild and everywhere, and they're so abundant and so beautiful. It's quite a spectacular sight. So I'm delighted to hear that you're going to take that inspiration into your work and turn that into embroidery.
Yeah, and when the lupins finished blooming in New Brunswick, we went to the Quebec, and we were able to see even more lupins because they were just started blooming there. So if you want to extend the experience, you can go there. Oh my God.
Uh, that's a lovely idea. You could pretty much time your drive across Canada to coincide with the blooming of the lupins.
And the same with the autumn beautiful um, maple trees, like the different colors where they start, like the leaves start falling down. Here you can still see some uh, autumn trees in Quebec.
That's so. Oh, that's what.
Extend a little bit the autumn time.
And that is really beautiful, isn't it, to see all of the autumn color throughout the mountains and the countryside. It's
Yeah, like
spectacular.
it's Atlantic Canada is really beautiful. We are traveling every weekend. We try to see more sites. We already explored all the New Brunswick, so it looks like there is no place where we haven't been. But now we are exploring Nova Scotia, PI, and Quebec.
Great. Excellent. Well, I'm really thrilled to hear that you're exploring all of these beautiful places. There's so much to see and discover, and no doubt I'm sure it will inform your work some more as you see these beautiful sights and the flowers and, the flora and fauna of the area.
I have so many ideas for the future projects that are inspired by Canadian nature. I would definitely embroider the lobster, the seal. That I saw them like for the first time in my life here, so it really impressed me. So the lighthouse, like so many ideas.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing how you'd interpret them because I can see them being almost entwined with your beautiful flowers from the Ukraine and the way you put together those with the kind of the Atlantic Canada symbols as well. So I can't wait to see how they all come together. I also loved hearing how you said that you joined the community A to make some friends and then are now able to contribute back by also teaching your workshops to others who would like to learn the techniques. And I also find it's quite it's a very reciprocal experience when you're teaching because you're sharing your knowledge, but you also get so much warmth back from the participants and inspiration on different ways of doing things. Do you find that you've been inspired to do other kind of motifs or use different colors as a result of your interaction with your workshop?
I know, but for me, it's very great experience because I was always teaching people online and I didn't see their mistakes that they are doing. So for me, it's a really nice experience seeing people trying hand embroidery for the very first time in their life and how they hold the needle, how they work with the thread, like how the stitches they turn out, which mistakes they do. So maybe I'm just picking it up in my mind. So I know more about it, so I know how to better teach them. And so this is like for me, it's a really nice experience. And we talk about Canadian traditions as well, like on the workshop. We exchange our like culture and traditions. It's a really nice way to share, hear some feedback from the Canadians and learn more about them as well.
Yeah, it is. I always find that it goes both ways, and I also find that when you're sitting down and you're teaching a group of people and everyone's working on their embroidery, it's I think it's a safe space for people to share and relax and talk about things. When people are busy with their fingers, it gives them a chance to relax and just, I don't know, have these wonderful conversations around the table about things that are happening in their lives. And like you say, it also gives you an opportunity to problem solve and troubleshoot if people are holding things the wrong way or whatever as well. So it's a learning experience from both sides.
Yeah, there are different people who are coming. There are people who they have some experience in cross stitching, so embroidery turns out much easier for them. But there are some people who even didn't hold the needle in thread in their hands. They don't know how to thread the needle and stuff. So, but even them, uh, their stitches they learn something and they stitches turn out really really great. For example, I have one student who will come to me for more embroidery kits because she was trying it for the first time and it was a little bit the stitches didn't turn great and she was like really like a bit angry and annoyed about this. But with my help, we polished her technique and she figured it out like finally. But and then she contacted me again and she said, "Oh my God, I really love this, and I want more. Like, do you have some kits for me or something? Where is your next workshop?" So yeah, she's coming for more project because she really got into it. But it's like completely different from what I saw in the beginning. Like, yeah, some people that they think that it's not my thing. They tried and they failed, and then they think that it's not their thing. But they just needed a little bit of help, and they just don't know what they are losing. Like,
That's so fun to hear that, and that, from the sounds of things, means, Nat, that you must be an excellent teacher to help people work through their frustrations and go from finding embroidery to be very challenging to absolutely loving it and wanting to do a whole lot more.
yeah. And I'm really happy about it. Uh, Turned out I never thought that I'm going to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher at school, and I thought, oh my God, it's the worst job in the world. Like, it's you go to the job, you have a lot of stress, you're working hard, and when you go home, you work again because you need to check all the tasks that people like kids did, and she never had time for me. So, and I learned that a lot of relatives they also were teachers. So, and I ended up being a teacher, but in my way. Like, I can control it. Like, if I need some day off, I take a day off. If I feel like I have a lot of energy and I can create projects and start stitch along. So everything in my hands now.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. So it sounds like the teaching is in your blood, but you get a chance to do it your way and sharing what you're passionate about too, which I really think kind of changes everything, doesn't it? If you love what you do, it kind of just translates naturally as a sharing it with others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nat, I'm so excited that you're here with us again for Making Zen. And I'm super excited that you're going to be sharing your egg techniques with us, the embroidered egg techniques. And I look forward to watching your workshop and hearing more about the traditions and the inspiration behind them.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for joining me in this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And if you'd like to learn more about Making Zen, please check out the links below where you can find out all about the workshops and creativity, community, and all that kind of good stuff. Wishing you many happy hours of stitching.